gentlemen, with me on our blue rocket couch is Tavasszy from the TU Delft. He's an expert on transport modeling, I think, and also in logistics overall. Laurie, I think one of your big ideas is the physical internet. Maybe you can explain what exactly is that and what has it got to do with logistics?
Yes, thank you. So, physical internet is not my idea. It's the brainchild of a professor in Canada who's now in US and a professor in Paris. It's a vision of the logistics system of the future, which has grown into something which is carried by the logistics research community and the big companies and the smaller ones that are innovating. So it acts like a binding engine, if you wish, between research and innovation. And it's a vision of how logistics could grow, could improve in the future. It describes the system and all its elements and how they are connected. And this is a guiding guideline, a guiding vision for research and innovation.
What would the system look like in the future? I mean, does it have anything in common with logistics we know it today, or is it something totally different?
Yeah, so very briefly, imagine all the things going right today. Imagine that they continue, and all the things that don't work well, that they discontinue. That's like the physical internet. So it's very simple. They use words like hyper-connected, where although we have connections now, most of them are not digital. Yeah, most of them are slow. And imagine that all this, the speeds go up very quickly, so that the system starts to work like a self-organizing system. Whatever goes wrong is escalated to a high level, solved there. So within a short period of time, we can repair whatever goes wrong. It's more robust, it's more flexible, and it's faster, it's more efficient. Because of some technical measures, better ICT, more modularity, like we have now, but much improved, connectedness, horizontal collaboration between actors, vertical visibility, all these combined.
I mean, if the speed goes up that much, and I mean, still logistics is a people's business. That's what we always hear. What kind of role can people, can the human beings still play within the industry, or will it be a kind of automated industry in the future then?
Yeah, very much automated. So, of course, the vision here as well is that of cyber-physical systems where people work well together with machines, but certainly many tasks will be automated. So we rely very much on like routers in the digital internet. The physical internet will have automated nodes that work like routers, that are pre-programmed to do certain things under certain conditions. And human interference will be much less. There will always be a need for humans for various reasons, but automation is a very important ingredient of the whole story. Yes, yes.
Is there already an idea when this kind of new world of logistics could appear, or is it a very future scenario we don't really have to think about today?
Well, every time I explain the concept in the classroom is divided into two groups. One group that says, we will never get there, and the other group that says, but we already have it. So, and the narrative goes that we are now in generation 1 of the physical internet. So there have been studies, there have been research papers, there are groups thinking about what is generation 2, what is generation 3, what is generation 4. And when we will be in a state that we call the full physical internet, maybe 2040, 2050. That's the general idea, but there are certain signs already of good things that are going on, and with a little bit of automation we can increase it and we can improve it, which is already happening. There are some governance regulations which are in the way. If we can improve them, then the system will work more smoothly.
I mean, if you look at the surroundings of today, we have trade conflicts, we have the sustainability debate, we have coronavirus right now, and I mean, one of your tasks, as I understand it, is freight transport network modeling, for example. All these effects, how do they affect freight transport networks? Do they change them, and do they have to adapt or be adapted to that?
It's very interesting how these economic forces work against each other. So while we are having increasing trade barriers, for example, in the last 5 years, We also see enormous consolidation of maritime alliances, which creates a jump in efficiency, even though the market circumstances from the demand perspective are not that nice. People are collaborating, and we are creating larger systems. Of course, one is connected to the other, but eventually when demand will grow again, we will be left with a much more efficient system, like slow steaming, for example, which has created an efficiency jump. So I think the way companies deal with this is that they're not wasting the good crisis that we have. They're trying to use it to their benefit and use it to make the system jump from one place to another.
I mean, it's a startup day, which we are starting now, kind of. How do research and startups work together? I mean, do you have it? Do you work with startups? Do they bring new ideas into research?
I think startups do not necessarily evolve from research. So most of the startups I know have very little to do with research. So the creativity, the improvisation, the opportunism to jump on a business opportunity, I think that has very little to do with research. But after a while, when the companies start to scale up, they have to develop a certain level of intelligence. And this is where research could come in. And this is where I see that startups or scale-ups develop a need for research, for a connection with research, to stay on top of the game. I think this is the phase where research is most important.
Maybe last question. I mean, if you have a student coming to you as a professor and asking you, what should I do? What kind of job should I do? Would you tell him to go into a startup? Would you tell him to go into a traditional logistics company, or does it just not really matter?
I think it depends on the student. So some students walk in and you immediately see that they want freedom, they want to fly hard and fast and think big and start small, do something useful, which is very concrete on a short term in their immediate surroundings. And then there are students who are more theoretical, want to deepen their knowledge first and so on. So we had about 35 graduates last year who all went to companies, and about a third went to very small companies, startups like Cargo or others, and a third went to big companies, and a third went into research. So it depends very much on the person. And I think we have to put the right qualities in the right place.
Well, good luck for that in the future. Thank you very much, Laurie. Thank you.